There's this guy called Dodford.
My name is Danny. People call me Dodford. Americans call me Dodford. I'm Dodford.
He's a YouTube filmmaker, future film director, and YouTube documentary's latest star. Guy speaks with faces of famous people. He went from just a kid loving action movies, and now he's DMing with the biggest creators on the planet, including Mr.Beast, Sidemen, and Donald Glover. And he did it with extremely delicious creative stuff. But it was not that easy as it may seem.
An outside perspective, it would be seen as an overnight success. But to me, it was the complete opposite. It's just well too slow.
So today, I'm going to tell you the story of Dodford. And to do this, we'll have to go back to the year 2006.
I don't think I was absorbing stories, I was absorbing just wow moments. Back then, as a kid, you're looking for that spectacle. And to me, it was a James Bond moment. A James Bond moment where he's riding down on a speedboat down a river and he crashes through a wedding, you know, and there's all these impasses and stuff like that. I remember seeing that and thinking that's like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I'd always ask my mum, how do they do that? And my mum would just always say, movie magic. And that was like sort of like telling me the answer but not telling me anything. That was like the curiosity that got me intrigued and got me on this road, I think. And then I had to start working it all out.
His dad also was responsible for a big chunk of his inspiration.
I cure my social anxiety with a camera. Like my year 6 France trip, I couldn't wait to go. But that morning...
But Dad, I don't want to go.
Well, here, take this camera and show me everything you saw.
With this camera, I now had a duty to capture for my dad. The trip had extra significance. Today, shooting on the go is one of my favorite things. It gets me out of bed. There's a lot of fun to be had in telling your own story.
I fell in love with the cinema of video games first. I mean, even when I was like 10 years old, I was making movies at school, lightsaber videos, Star Wars stuff. Acted upon it quickly, made movies with after school. And then when I was in secondary school, I drifted away from making real life movies and I did a bunch of like Call of Duty montages, learning Sony Vegas, learning After Effects, learning all these like software. And that's kind of when I first got integrated into the idea of the editing community as well, because this is like 2012, 2013, YouTube, Call of Duty montages, FaZe Clan when it was like first getting big. And like that community was like addicting to me, and I was in it every single day. Like it was so rampant on YouTube, people who were making montages and editing videos. There was so much of it that there was constant inspiration as well. Like there were people who were editing back then who I looked up to, like they were legends, like they were icons of the industry. They might have been 14 or 15 years old. Some of those people, they were so young and they made videos that are like just genuinely astounding, but they had already this sort of inherent knowledge of cinematography and blocking, staging, composition. There's like this natural instinct, and they're young, and now they've gone into like the movie industry, CGI, and you know, work for Marvel, all that stuff. So it's so an interesting thing, sort of like learning to fall in love with editing before I did movies. And so I went in like, it was like 16, 17. It was such a good playground of learning those abilities from other people and like constantly inspiring each other. It was a glorious time.
And then I did that for like 4 years, edit videos for like Call of Duty montages for people. When I hit like 15, I realized, oh, this is not cool. I shouldn't be doing this. All the girls at school are going to laugh at me.
Fell out of love with editing, but what I did was I fell out of love with Call of Duty, because those things were so intertwined in my head that I thought they came as a package. But then I realized that, no, I still love movie magic, still love TV magic, you know, and I got obsessed with cinema and filmmaking as a whole, and then the love for editing returned.
So I realized, okay, maybe I should go to university and study this. Maybe like if I go to film school, I'll pick this up again.
And oh boy, so he went.
Film and moving image production, completely useless in the end. It was valuable. I mean, I'm not going to say it was useless. It was designed for, you know, people who want to be writers or directors, go into like the proper film industry. And so we learned a lot about storytelling, and and I thought I wanted to be like a DP or a cinematographer, or just someone who held a camera. And then I got surrounded by all these people who really know cameras and are obsessed and passionate about cinematography, and I realized I really wasn't that. And that's when I feel like I'm in my element, when I'm like in a dark room by myself, just editing.
But was this film school really for him?
For 3 years, I was just sort of waiting, okay, when are we going to learn about editing? When? And then we just never did. It was all like theory. We learned everything about like story structure and character arcs and stuff like that. It was, we analyzed film. It was like a film theory course. So I graduated university this year, and like the last like few months of the course, part of the thing we had to do was build like an online platform, and they just recommended, okay, start posting stuff to your Instagram every couple of days or something. Prepare yourself for the industry, for the outside world, past education. And so I started doing that. I remember like being quite excited about it. It was like a new thing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna find some like cool things to post. I had, you know, like 25 followers or something, less than that, you know. Thought leaving uni, I was gonna have to go into like some post-production company and, you know, work as like an assistant editor for years and years, working my way up the ladder, you know, the conventional way. But the online platform thing at the very end kickstarted this whole thing.
He hits the perfect timing with social media.
You know, I was at university, and the Dodford TikTok began, you know, mostly just to have fun and see what I could make, but also because I knew it would be a public portfolio.
TikTok, there's like, yeah, people will scroll very, very quickly, and so the script has to be perfect. I was never taught anything, so everything I've learned is all just been either YouTube tutorials or just messing about myself, sitting down in front of Premiere Pro for at least 6 hours a day. But it's one of those things that every single time I put some time away to really focus on it, I felt my skills develop tenfold.
I spent a lot of time making these short films, like these little fictional narrative type of things, and those were really creatively fulfilling. It was a way of trying something new every single time and doing a lot of experimenting, which, like, as a filmmaker, trying something different and like TikTok specifically was like the best way of allowing me to do that. And so it used to be amazingly fulfilling. I just gave myself like a rule that I had to create something every single day, you know, wherever it was in completion, that by the end of that day, it was done. And so I did that all of 2021. It was just, you know, every single day I made something. So many things were kind of just thrown in the bin, but I treated them as wins because I was learning something new every single day, and it was a success, you know, starting something massive, giving up immediately, hating myself for it, to then just having a mindset shift. Didn't complete this today, and no one will ever see it, but know how I did it, and I know how it made me feel, and I know how to do it tomorrow. It ended up just becoming a massive improvement on everything I did, and now I don't feel that way anymore, really.
And he had the idea for his channel.
He was always trying to teach people how to edit first. That was the initial concept of Dodford. Thought process of educating people has never really left. Teach people that they can do anything they want, specifically about creating and being a creative person, because I've done it myself, so I feel like anyone can. Especially when you're beginning, you're never going to know what your true strengths are and what your true vision and taste is. So always the priority was trying to showcase every range of editing technicality I had. Every single video I was trying to showcase something new, push a different side of me. I sacrificed spending more time on that as opposed to sending cold emails, you know, or just applying to jobs. I had a clear understanding of the type of editing I wanted to keep producing, you know, that you'd scroll onto a For You page and you'd, in the first 3-4 seconds, feel that it was a Dodford video. It's how things snowballed for me, because once that TikTok got a few followers and people started noticing it and the videos were going on the For You page, then I started getting emails, then I started getting job requests. So it was something that felt very natural. It was such a really easy transition, growing in popularity, and so that felt like they had more validation for it at the time. But like, I'm really happy that I focused on that and building that portfolio. Have as much variety as I possibly could. Don't waste time just like thinking about what job you want to apply to or anything. Just like keep working, just like, and show people that you've got the capabilities that you've got. People deserve to see it.
But it was not only flowers and butterflies. There were dark moments too.
Like, because it blew up and it reached an audience that had never seen me before, all the comments were like just dreadful. Look, I sort of prefer being like just below viral, because, you know, then you got all the people who know you. Those comments were really bad. And everyone in the TikTok comments got very upset. I think I prefer it when a video gets, definitely not 2 million views.
I did 2 years of client work and editing for other creators. I needed to make money, and so the editing for other people was just where all my time went every day. And anyone who knew me then knew that I wasn't fulfilled and I wasn't enjoying my every single day. And the whole time I was just wishing I had more time to do my own stuff. And so I was trying to develop this own brand of whatever Dodford was. I didn't know what it meant, and I knew I had to put more time into growing it, putting out content as fast as I can, and constantly reminding people that I existed. I had that feeling where I was like, if I don't upload for a week, it means that people are going to forget about me.
It felt detrimental to me as an artist and as a person, just because regardless of what you say about it, if you're a creator, then you're going to have some sort of emotional connection to the views that you get and the analytics and stuff like that. And there's no way of escaping that, genuinely. You can just pretend that you do everything for the love of the art, but it's deeper than that. Even though I had a couple 100,000 followers, I really felt like a lack of connection. And because of that, every time a video doesn't do too well or something flopped and I'd spent a long time on it and it didn't do that well, it felt like it mattered so much more because there was no safety net.
Something had to change.
Then I had a big conversation with myself. I was like, is this what I want to do? Is this my future goal? I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, director one day. And I just thought that working as an editor for these YouTube clients who don't really care about me, or aren't paying me that well, and making TikToks that, I'm proud of, but they're not fulfilling really. They didn't really align with my goal. And so I said, okay, I have to take this YouTube thing seriously. As an online creator, it's kind of the homepage of all of it, but I put it off for so long because it was just such a daunting idea of trying to build an audience on YouTube, because it's the hardest one probably.
I was fed up and sick of making short form TikToks. They weren't inspiring me. I wasn't having that much fun with it anymore. It was stressing me out. I kept getting worried, as well as they weren't performing that well. People weren't resonating with them as well as I wanted them to. And I felt like my potential was higher. So I took the risk of just deciding to go, okay, fuck the validation and the comments and the likes that I've been getting every day, and let me just hide away in a cave for a month and see what I can build. And, it didn't hit.
But he had a plan. He had a new strategy.
I went, okay, screw that. Going, okay, I'm going to try this.
Targeting creators or YouTubers or celebrities and stuff, and hopefully getting their approval on it.
I always pick someone that feels like I can resonate with their story. Probably the main indicator to me if a character is a good one to pick. And I have to be inspired by someone to put the time in and really want to tell their story. If I can't be motivated by their story and feel like there's a good, something to learn from it, then I'm not going to dedicate my time to it. So yeah, I guess there is a sort of, everyone who ends up on the Dodford channel, I kind of want them to be a symbol of a larger story that I want to push to inspire people.
And it worked.
The first one I did was the Sidemen, and I knew that my goal there was to get them to do a video on their Sidemen Reacts channel. All these celebrities and these people, they have things made for them all the time. It's fan art videos or whatever. I'm sure they have to scroll through a lot of kind of just rubbish. And I knew that you could stand out actually quite easily just by putting in that extra 10%. And so all it took was one of them to see it, or one of their crew, a large number of fans. I've just learned that the YouTube algorithm is pretty astonishing in its own way, and it comes to the people you want it to see as long as you have it in your mind from the beginning. The priority is I want to convey an emotion the whole time. It's always every single story beat has to have a very clear theme. What emotion do I need the audience have leading into the next chapter? How does that bridge between them? Because I'm always thinking about that. It's a big priority of mine is just trying to push that story as far as it can go. His name is Francis. I'm sure you know him. But that's not every side of Francis.
I just wanted to say that I'm extremely inspired by Dodford's art and his documentaries about people that inspire him. extremely good idea, and I want to do the same. Make videos about people that inspire me in all kinds of form and all kinds of ways. This is really cool story, and this is so much inspiring story for an artist, that someone is willing to put the work every day to try new things and have this creative challenge for 1 year to try different tastes and different flavors of art. Focus on that instead of, as he said, sending cold emails and stuff. This is so fucking inspiring, man, and I just want to get better. I know this audio is not so good, I know that visuals could be better, and in 1 year I will be a different person and this channel will be different. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Lately my channel was blowing up. For 7 months I was stuck at 4 subscribers. 4. Right now in 2 weeks I got 15,000 views and 500 subscribers. It still may seem like a small number, but for me it is mind-blowing, really. So thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much for all of the comments I was getting. So beautiful words and encouraging words that maybe my channel will be at 1 million subscribers soon. Amazing. The highest form of help for an artist to inspire another artist. Still, if you're watching this, consider subscribing. Statistics show that 95% of you guys watching are not subscribers, so just consider it. I don't want to be too pushy. Also, you can check out my Twitter. I will be writing there more. If you would like to hire me as an editor, thumbnail designer, storyteller, I'm down for it. So again, we're going back to the Dodford story.
The moment that everything kind of blew up was the Sidemen video, reaching that whole side of the industry, you know, all of them noticing it, reacting to it, commenting on it, following me. That was like a kind of the moment I'd been waiting for. I've always felt like I was on the outskirts of this creator hub. That Sidemen video suddenly blowing up and becoming a behemoth on the channel, that was like, oh, suddenly these people know my name, they notice me. Credibility is forming. That's always a great feeling. And I felt rewarding because it was after years of churning and grinding out and late nights. An outside perspective, it would be seen as an overnight success. But to me, it was the complete opposite. It's just well too slow.
He had found his winning formula, like this video.
The Nerdwuar one, because everyone knew about his success and, you know, you recognize his face, you see him talking to these celebrities. And when I was doing the research, I realized those darker eras, the 90s or whatever, where people weren't really resonating with him, was kind of unknown and people didn't really know much about that. Something that was, one, had a lot of conflict and a lot of payoff, which is just great for a story. But also because I knew it was kind of like I was revealing something, you know. All the comments on that video is people saying that they didn't know that side of his story and people resonating with it, because we've all had experiences with people who don't like us or bully us or don't understand you. And so, yeah, the Nerdwuar one was probably the one that's inspired me the most.
He decides to do more of this, famous, inspiring documentaries. And it went really good.
Logic was a crazy one. I just woke up on Christmas Eve and he DM'd me and said that he loved the video, and it was
big deal. That was a little like 12-year-old side of me really fanboyed out then.
I don't really know how it happens or like what to get to that point. Algorithms and people being nice. And now I'm learning that everyone is like, you're like 3 or 4 connections away from most people. And once you build that network a little bit, you realize that everyone is reachable.
So in his mind, he started to have more and more ambitious projects.
As soon as it came New Year, I was like, okay, I want to work on this Donald Glover video that I'd been planning for a while. So I kind of locked myself away for weeks, spending way too much time on it. And, you know, obviously as a small channel, it's always a risk putting that much time into anything that you don't know whether or not. It's kind of a gamble. I posted it finally, and it was like letting my baby go off into the world. Initially, it was really slow. Maybe I shouldn't really put that much time into a video that I never know is going to do that well. Being like an idiot. A week later, it starts climbing again. I've had this like double moment where I'm like, okay, maybe I should just trust my instinct. And I knew it was going to eventually find an audience. So like, I would never just dive in and make a video just because it's hot. But usually it's just, someone that I like, I'm inspired by, and I know has like a story with some conflict in it.
On a personal level, I'm always looking for people who overcome obstacles, and he had a childhood that creativity wasn't encouraged on him. So to go from that and then become this magnificent person who can do all of it together, but be a master of all of it, is incredibly inspiring. You have to just kind of take everything in, absorb everything, build this universe in your head, and once it's all in there and you absorb it, I don't know, those stories just kind of jump out at me. The connections and the links between those things, it just happens.
So his stories come from subconscious mind. So he doesn't tell them, he channels them. And this is extremely important to understand that and cherish that.
Like the best editors need like a strong sense of empathy. Starting a project, I'll give myself a day or two just to like absorb, ask myself how I feel about it and where the story is. I'll pace around this room back and forth, contemplating everything, and try not to rush everything. Like ask yourself what everything means. Put down the camera and tell yourself, why does it belong there? Why do I want it to look this way? And it's just, the best filmmakers, they're 99% of the time, they're not like using some secret sauce. It's just, they know how to ask the right questions. Keep saying why, eventually you'll get down to the place it should be. I think it was just a mindset shift for me to think, okay, I'm just going to treat it like I already have 1 million people waiting for the next video. The video has to be good enough for people to care about it. And that just eventually all leads down to you as the creator. You've got to think, does this video deserve to be seen by this person? If I showed this to a room of 500,000 people, would I be embarrassed? You have to treat it like it's going to get 1 million views from the beginning. And then if you're lucky, things just fall into place. You're going to like smash those expectations of people thinking that if you've got 50,000 subscribers, then you should be making videos that fit 1,000 viewers. That feels like nothing. It feels like it's, like 1 or 2 people have watched it, when it really, that's not. Like 1,000 people is a lot. And in that 1,000, you never know who's in that group. Hot Ones one, I know it's not my best performing video, but it's also one of the ones I'm most proud of, and ended up being seen by the person that I made it about. And it's beautiful. Regardless, if you just pour yourself into anything you make, then whatever happens afterwards, then it doesn't really matter.
So if you want to get a message from a person you admire, there's no trick. Just be genuine and do this.
They really notice that like extra 5-10%, not necessarily even like actually you're putting 10% extra effort in. It's kind of sometimes just 10% extra care.
But the care comes at the beginning. You're putting that initial extra 10% in. You have to start the engine with that extra bit of fuel that you feel really committed and dedicated. Otherwise, you get to the point at the end where you kind of don't really care and you're adding extra effort, but you're just kind of taking out more energy than you should, and that you could put on other things. And it's just all about that belief at the beginning. Use your brain, and start thinking about what it means to you. Why do you want to tell this story? What's the impact that you could generate? Why is it going to change you? As opposed to putting it into a ChatGPT and it giving you 5-6 ideas that you can just pick one from. It might get you the same finished product, but it's not going to have the same impact on you as a creator from the whole way through. The number one is, are you having fun with it? That's a serious thing. And there's also a lot of fear so many creators have about trying something totally different, completely switching up your content. If you're not having fun, you're not having fun, and like this is what it's meant to be. You're doing this so you don't have to be an accountant, so like if you're going to follow a dream, make sure that you're following your actual dream.
By doing all of this, Dodford finally got the job on the biggest YouTube channel on the platform.
I got the opportunity through Hayden Hillier Smith, who I've been working with for a while, and he's like kind of acted as my mentor a little bit. I need some help with some little animation bits, and it gave that kind of creative free reins to me. So I came up with that kind of scrapbooky, comic booky style, and it was amazing. That was definitely the most coverage any of my work's ever gotten, because it got like 80 million views in like 3 days or something. So to have that in one side of my brain, but also be told, okay, just do what you want, we'll see if we like it. It was amazing. It was a really cool opportunity, and so I kind of just did what I want. Yeah, the final thing was just straight in the video, and then I saw it and I watched it and I was like, wow, that was me.
And what is most beautiful about his videos, they're always ending with this note of inspiration.
Honestly, I just want to keep creating videos about people I like. I've always wanted to be like a filmmaker, be a director one day.
I'm slowly drifting towards this identity in my channel where there's getting less and less and less of me. The Adam Sandler one, I about a 15-minute video, and there's less than 2 minutes of voiceover, less than 2 minutes of me. So that's it's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and I think I like it that way. If the channel one day is totally secondary footage and there's no me in it, I'm willing to explore that, dispersing out, and also I can step away from it as the face and just Dodford be this separate entity. That's something that I look forward to. I've got kind of rough, basic plans of, the future of how I want the documentaries to go. I want them to be screened in cinemas eventually, production company or whatever, things that build these projects that, I think I'm scared of that. I'm proud of the quality of the videos I put out there, but if you display it on a huge 50-foot projector, and it's that kind of real life, everyone absorbing an emotion together, that's amazing. But every tiny little detail you're going to scrutinize, every frame is going to, that's nervous. And I think when it's a collaborative process, a whole team working on a project and we're all proud of it and it's a unanimous thing that we've all seen a million times, that feels safer. But right now, that's terrifying. I'm not there yet.
Like, we're pioneering a future. And obviously none of this has happened before, and I'm only 22. So I know that we have many, many more years of things working out what's to come. It sounds a bit ego-driven, but we'll be paving a new path. Juggling all these types of ways of creating an audience, creating art, creating money, it's never been done before. And so that's really exciting. Sometimes I stay up at night thinking, what is it going to mean? Are we doing the right thing? Our previous generations are looking down on us and thinking, what idiots. But it's a really great job just to kind of pour all this time into saying anything you want to say. If you're lucky, people like it too. It's the best time ever to be a filmmaker, I think. That human perspective, that human touch, that can't be replicated, and you will feel it in a video that's made by a human versus by AI, and it might be a subconscious thing. Yeah, so scary. But the biggest benefit every creator has now is that you are uniquely you. That's what it comes down to. Not everyone's going to consider themselves an artist, but if you're making videos on YouTube, if you're creating online, then you are a filmmaker. No one can strip away what makes you you. No one can outdo you at being you. And if you just really hone in on that and you use that to advantage, then you are unstoppable. Simultaneously, never been a better time to be a filmmaker. If you use that to advantage and use you to your advantage, then you're gonna excel. Things are gonna shine through in all this ocean of muck. So follow your passion, man. Just do it.